The following program is underwritten by...
It's important to handle any pet behavioral issues with love and care rather than pain and punishment. That's why Dr. Roger Mugford from the Company of Animals created the Pet Corrector, which allows you to safely change unwanted behaviors in your dog, like barking, with a simple... Order yours today at www.companyofanimals.us.
Celebrating the connection with our pets. This is Animal Radio, featuring your dream team, veterinarian Dr. Debbie White and groomer Joey Villani. And here are your hosts, Hal Abrams and Judy Francis.
Well, thank you, big guy. We are getting in the mood for Halloween around here. And in fact, the Halloween pumpkin is actually starting to carve itself, it looks like, I think.
That's not a good thing.
Is it carve or caving?
Yeah, maybe that's what is happening. We should probably get into that puppy before it rots away here. But I noticed you're going to be doing the Chihuahua Ladybug stencil once again this year.
I like doing that.
Pumpkins.
I think that looks so cool.
It is a cool little, and you can get that free, by the way, over at our website if you want a Chihuahua stencil for your pumpkin. But you're in the mood today. You booked a couple of guests that are Halloween
Yes, I
oriented.
got in the mood.
Well, we're 2 weeks away still, but I guess one of them is kind of important because you want to order your costumes early.
Yes.
And this guy makes pet costumes.
Don't tell my wife.
Oh, she's all over that, huh? She'd buy 100 of them. Well, you have a closet full of them, don't you?
Yeah, but they're already worn, Hal. You can't.
I got to tell you, they wear them once, and then that's it, and they go into a like a bin that we have, and it's full to the top.
If you dress up your animals, I'd love to hear from you today. And in fact, if you can send us pictures that we can put up on the Facebook page, even better.
What pictures?
We'd
Lots
love
of pictures.
The other Halloween-oriented guest today is a bat guy, an actual Batman. Well, he's not a Batman. He deals with bats.
Batman.
He deals with all kinds of bats. He's written a book called The Secret Lives of Bats. He's hung around bats long enough to find out they have secret lives, and he's put them inside a book for you.
There's lots of
Hung
pictures.
around bats. Did you really say that?
See, even bats have skeletons in their closet, huh?
That was a good one, Hal.
See, he's going to tell us how much we should like bats because we're all scared of bats. We're all like, ooh. That's what we do. Whenever we hear about bats. But they actually are very misunderstood, and they help us with everything. We'll find out more details on the way with you. I'm not going to have a pet bat, though. I'll tell you that right now. That's where I draw the line.
Nope.
Pet monkey, maybe, but no bats.
No bats.
Miss Lori Brooks, I know I didn't tell you that I was going to ask for a tease of what's coming up in the news, but would you grace us with your presence? Tell us something that's coming up in this first hour here.
All right.
And I feel bad about that. I should have at least given you some kind of habit.
That's okay. Because I've been, if you've heard me giggling in the background, there's a cat on Facebook, and his owner has called him Klepto Kitty. But the reason that the owner is allowed to call him that, and the fact that police officers actually urged this man to put his cat on Facebook is really kind of a funny story.
I think I've heard
And I'll
about
share
this.
it with you.
Yeah, okay.
Don't give it away.
That's on the way right here on Animal Radio. Let's go to the phones for your calls right now for Dr. Debbie or Dog Father Joey Villani. Well, hi, Lucy. How are you?
Hello.
How are you doing today?
Fine, thank you.
Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Los Angeles, Pico Rivera.
Okay. I'm very familiar with the area. So tell me what's going on. How can we help you?
Okay, I really need your advice. We have a boxer, and she's about 8 years old, and she's white. She's a very pretty dog, and she's having trouble with the leg, the left back leg, and she's dragging it now. So we took her to the doctor, and they said that she's got, a large cartilage ligament, and she's got arthritis between the bone. The leg seems to flop a little, and she drags it sometimes. And so she's having a hard time sitting down. So anyway, the doctor decided we could do surgery on her, but she also had a murmur, and then we had to consult a cardiologist. The cardiologist said that her heart was very bad, and if they do the surgery, she might die. And they said, well, it's up to you if you want to do it, but we don't want to take a chance. So now we're having trouble with the heart, and they're giving her Benzapril, SOTOLOL, and then she's going to have to be taking this other medication, which is VETMEDIN.
Okay.
And that one we had a hard time getting it. But anyway, that's very expensive. So my niece went through the internet, and she's going to be able to get it for us for less money. But now we don't know what to do with her leg. We have to lift her going down the steps, but she can walk, and she just has a hard time, like, going to the bathroom because she has to sit or kneel, you know, when she has to do poop. And she's having trouble with that, and I don't know. We don't know what to do with the leg. You know, they're not giving us any options. Do we put a brace on her, or what do we do?
Okay, so I want to get the specific diagnosis, what they think she has. Did they mention that she has a cruciate ligament injury, or are they worried about something spine?
I understood. The X-rays look kind of bad. Okay, it's a large cartilage ligament.
Okay. I think you may be describing a cruciate ligament injury, which is a very, it's one of the main stabilizer ligaments in the knee. It isn't typical for a dog to drag their leg, though. They may not use it and they may carry it, but it does bother me that you describe that she's dragging the leg, because that to me makes me a little bit more concerned about something neurologic going on, maybe in her spine or in the nerves.
The doctor said her hips are fine. They're in good condition. It's just that leg.
We'll assume that the diagnosis is a cruciate ligament, which is a very common injury in both athletic dogs and couch potato dogs. And basically, when that ligament becomes damaged, they can't bear weight on the knee, and they'll carry it. So there is a corrective surgery, which is recommended if we have a full tear of that ligament. It's completely ruptured. However, as you are seeing, is that we have to assess the patient, not just the leg. And I would have to say that is the most important thing anytime we talk about what the best treatment option is. Backing up, so your dog has a heart murmur, and I'm assuming a severe one if we're already on all those different cardiac medicines.
Debbie, they did an echo and EKG, and she has extraventricular contractions. She's got an enlarged heart, and I think she's going into a bundle branch, or she had it, or I don't know.
Okay.
But
so your doggy is in definitely a different cardiac category. So there are some dogs that have heart murmurs that are benign or that are very insignificant when it comes to their anesthetic options. So for those pets, I wouldn't want them to necessarily, if they've gone through the evaluation and the cardiologist says, okay, everything's clear, surgery can certainly proceed. In your situation, from what you're describing, I'd have to agree. I don't think surgery sounds like any direction I would consider going.
Right.
But to try to find something that you can do to help give some strength, one thing that I have used for some patients that haven't either, maybe the family hasn't pursued surgery, or it was an older pet that it just wasn't ideal for their overall health, is that of an orthotic, basically a brace, as you say. Yeah, and basically, I've worked with a couple different dogs for different reasons. One was for a cruciate ligament rupture in a senior pet. Another was a pet that had an amputation that needed a support brace for the opposing front leg. And basically, it's a pretty precise measurement system, so it's something you have to work with your veterinarian to get the leg molded so that we have proper measurements. But it's basically a kind of a moving cast. So it's not something rigid, something that your dog would be able to walk in, bend the joints, but it gives support. And sometimes we'll do it just for the affected leg. Other times we'll put it on the opposing leg just for strength.
Right,
but it is something that I would certainly look at.
You know what, Dr. Debbie? We take her out for a walk. We're not taking her for a long walk, me and my husband. We take her for a short walk because he said, don't walk her too long.
Sure.
Too much pressure on that leg. I said, okay. So we just walk her like maybe half a block back and forth.
Perfect.
That's
so I would say, check out, it's the one company, there's several out there, but the one I've used in my office is called OrthoPets. You can go to orthopets.com.
Orthopets.com, okay.
Yeah, and there's, they'll give you some different resources online. There's different videos to see how the pets do with that. There's veterinarians that may be listed in your area that utilize that or have used that system before and are familiar with it. But it has been helpful for for maintaining quality of life. It's not going to, fix that knee, but if we're talking about just making your pet more comfortable and getting around, that may be a viable option while you're taking care of her heart.
She can go up the steps good, but going down, it's a problem. We have to lift her and bring her down the steps.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just a problem. But other than that, she eats good. She's, she has no trouble eating. Walking, it's not too bad, but I don't want to force her to walk too much.
Right. No, you want her to take it easy. And also, also just keep in mind, stability on flooring, traction is very important with a pet that's recovering from any kind of orthopedic injury or surgery. So you want to make sure you prevent slipping.
And there's no way I can just wrap the leg, wrap it?
No. The more we just kind of wrap indiscriminately, you can actually cut off blood flow to the leg.
Oh, okay.
And it doesn't really allow use and movement of the leg. So you're going to get atrophy, which is counterproductive. So we want to maintain use, but just provide a little bit of strength while we're in the healing phase.
Okay.
So
that sounds good.
Yeah.
Anything that I can use for her, I'm going to look into that. Oh, thank you so much, Dr. Debbie.
Oh, my pleasure. And best wishes to you, and give that baby a pat on the head.
I sure will. Thank you.
She's lucky to have you.
Oh, that was so nice of her. I'm very thankful. She gave me advice. I didn't know what to do. And thank you very much.
Thanks, Lucy, for listening. We appreciate it. Toll free, 1-866-405-8405 to reach out to the Dream Team right now. Well, this part of Animal Radio is brought to you by Solid Gold Holistic Pet Food. I love these guys. They offer a wide range of holistic dry and wet food for both dogs and cats. Yeah, cats. You'll choose from a variety of grain and gluten-free as well as healthy whole grain options, all with ingredients you can trust. And isn't that the most important thing? There's no meat byproduct meal, corn, wheat, soy, sugar, artificial preservatives, or flavors added. It's just the good stuff for your dogs. Thanks, Solid Gold, for underwriting this healthy helping of Animal Radio. Hi, Teresa. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Where are you calling from today?
Calling from Montana.
Hey, Teresa.
Hi, Dr. Debbie.
Hey, how can I help you today?
Well, my cat seems to have a problem. The back of her lower back in her tail is very flaky and scaly, and she just kind of makes a mess. It's like a dandruff, cat dandruff.
Oh, yuck. Is she very scratchy with that? Does she get bothered by the area?
She is bothered by it. She scratches and bites, and I'm not sure what to do about it.
Okay. And what kind of kitty is she? Any particular pedigree, short-haired or long hair?
Black and white, short hair.
Okay, yeah, just a domestic short hair. And is she in healthy weight?
She's very healthy. She's about 2 years old, and other than that, she's fine.
And so you're calling from Montana, so does she spend time outdoors, or is she mostly inside?
She spends a lot of time outdoors chasing mice.
Ah, well, so she's got a job in the household then.
She does.
And is she an original mouser that was from a litter outside, or did you find her from a shelter?
No, she was given to us when she was about a half-grown kitten, but she just, where we live is kind of near the forest, so she loves to be outdoors. And she's inside, too. She sleeps in, but she plays out all day.
Oh, well, that's good. And what's her name? I didn't catch her name.
Her name is Squeakers.
Squeakers. That goes good with the mousing background.
Right.
All righty. Well, for Squeakers, do you have any challenges with her hair coat? Does she have any problems getting knots or mats or anything of that nature?
No, she does fine. I have to give her a bath every once in a while, but because she is kind of flaky, and that's
okay.
I don't like it, so.
Well, yeah.
I'm bothered by it more than she is.
Well, you mentioned it was bothering her. So is she scratching at it or trying to excessively groom back there?
Yes, she's always licking.
She's licking
her.
At that area. Okay.
Right.
All right. Well, there's a lot of different things that we might look at, and some of the first things I'd want to really investigate with her would be the potential for parasites. And, fleas and ticks are certainly one avenue we'd want to go down and make sure we're on really good flea control. So in your area, I know you probably have some cold winter time, but really to pursue that year-round, because if she's going inside and outside, we want to make sure that flea control is taken care of year-round. But there's even one other type of parasite that we kind of think of, and particularly when we see dandruff on the kind of the rump area, right over where the tail is. And there's a type of mite that we actually term walking dandruff. And it's really kind of gross when you see it on a microscope because it really looks like little pieces of dandruff walking with legs. But it is a type of parasite that we can see, and some pets will be somewhat itchy with that, and they'll tend to be quite flaky in the rump. So to check that out, we definitely want to make sure we do something called a skin scraping or a tape test. And that's something veterinarians do where we look at under the microscope and we look for creepy crawlers, and it's kind of why we get into veterinary medicine, because we dig this kind of stuff. But we want to make sure that we don't have anything like that, and make sure that's not a possibility, because if it is, it's something very simple to treat with the right type of flea medication and or medicated shampoo. So check that part out.
Okay.
There are some cats that, and I was quizzing you a little bit about Squeaker's weight, because for some more portly kitties, they have actually some difficulty getting to certain areas, and they don't distribute their oils on their hair coat really well. So that's where we need to step in and do some regular brushing really on a daily basis to help distribute those oils. And particularly if there's mats, because there can be dry patches that are associated with those. Okay. And for some cats, just like with dogs, you've probably heard me advocate on the show before, is fatty acids are a dietary supplement we can give to dogs and to cats as well. And it can help to keep their hair coat in good shape. The trick is that cats don't always like us putting things into their food like fatty acids. And they're far more intelligent than dogs, but don't tell the dogs that. But fatty acids could be another thing you might consider adding in to see if that helps her out as well.
Okay.
And see if that works out. And as long as everything else is going healthy in her life, and she's not having any signs of illness, then hopefully this is something kind of minor, and we can get her past that with a little bit of extra brushing and some of those other measures. So thank you so much, Teresa. I hope that's helpful.
1-866-405-8405 to talk to Dr. Debbie right now.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now at 1-866-405-8405.
When Shelby escaped from the dog pound.
Yes, he wouldn't want to be you.
He just needed a place to hide.
Who's down there?
Hey, hi, kid. Oh, get me out of here.
But instead he found...
You're my new partner.
A new best friend.
We'll have to hide out down here till Christmas morning. Then I can say Santa brought you.
Chevy Chase, John Paul Rutan, Tom Arnold, and Rob Schneider as the voice of Shelby.
Best Christmas ever.
Shelby. Coming soon to DVD, digital HD, and on demand.
Did you know canine caviar diets are formulated with common health concerns in mind, such as diabetes, cancer, and kidney disease? You see, canine caviar uses low GI carbs, which reduce hunger and prolong physical endurance. Free of GMO, gluten, hormones, steroids, and antibiotics. Canine Caviar's 5-star dog and cat foods are the only alkaline-based foods in the world, and that promotes a healthy lifestyle for your furry family. Find out more at caninecaviar.com.
Did that get your attention? That's how it works on your dog. Correcting undesirable behaviors. It's important to handle any pet behavioral issues with love and care, rather than pain or punishment. The Pet Corrector allows you to safely change unwanted behaviors in your dog, like excessive barking, stealing food or shoes, or chasing people and dogs. With a simple, you can stop all these problems. Find out more at www.companyofanimals.us and get the dog you've always wanted. Right, Max?
You may think being totally blind is the greatest challenge I face, but actually, it's the fact that I'm often wide awake at 3 a.m. and struggling to stay awake in the middle of the day. This is called Non-24, and it affects up to 70% of people who are totally blind, like me. It makes just getting through the day a real struggle. Learn more about Non-24 by calling 855-856-2424 or visiting learnmorenon24.com.
Sponsored by Vanda Pharmaceuticals.
Hi, I'm Charlotte Ross on Animal Radio. Please remember to spay and neuter your pets.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now at 1-866-405-8405.
It's Animal Radio. Here's the number. Toll free, free to you. 1-866-405-8405 to talk to Dr. Debbie or Joey Villani, or just to check in and say, hey, tell us what your animal's going to be wearing for Halloween, if your animal does that particular thing. And we'll be talking to a guy in just a few minutes who works for one of the costumiers, and I believe they have pet costumes, and they're big deals this year.
They are a big deal. They're a big deal all year round.
Hard to believe that's just 2 weeks away. It just seems like we just celebrated a brand new year. Wednesday just around the corner with Wacky Wednesday in our Facebook page. If you haven't checked this out yet, it's always so fun to check out the pictures people upload. And you should upload some wacky pet pictures too, because up for grabs are big prizes for the most shares and the most likes. And what have you wrangled this week, Miss Francis?
This week we got a great package from Himalayan Dog Chews.
Himalayan Dog Chews?
It's actually made from Himalayan hard cheese.
Cheese?
It's cheese, yes. It's either with yak or cow milk.
Yak cheese?
Well, yak cheese, yes. And it's made traditional methods that the Himalayans have done for hundreds of years.
Okay.
They're gluten-free. And depending upon the size of your dog and how they chew, it can be a very long-lasting chew for them and very healthy. And the package includes 3 Yaki Charms, 1 Yaki Puff, 1 Lean Licks, 1 mixed pack of Himalayan Dog Chews, and an extra large Himalayan Dog Chews, all from Himalayan Dog Chews.
And probably the only ones making gluten-free yak cheese, as far as I know.
And when you give this treat to them, you're providing them with high-quality eating entertainment.
Okay.
All from Himalayan Dog Chews.
Have you, Lori, have you tried yak cheese at all? Do you know anything? You're kind of a
no,
farm
I
girl.
haven't. I think goat cheese, which I used to love, it's pretty strong, but I can't imagine yak cheese.
What is a yak exactly? Do you know what a yak is? Is it related to a goat or a donkey, or what is
I thought it was like an ox.
It's a real hairy thing, isn't it?
You're listening to Animal Radio. If you missed any part of today's show, visit us at animalradio.com or download the Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
This is an Animal Radio News Update, brought to you by Doctors Foster and Smith Pet Pharmacy, with prescription medications and over-the-counter products like Advantix flea and tick medication delivered right to your door. Learn more at fosterandsmith.com.
I'm Lori Brooks. Animal trends like the dog bun could actually harm your pet. If you haven't seen the photos of this yet, it's kind of like the man bun, but it's where your dog's hair is gathered into a bun on the top or the back of its head. Or if there's not enough hair, your dog isn't a longer haired dog, well then sometimes people, this is horrible, they pin the dog's ears up using a rubber band or something that looks like a bun. And that's the big problem with this dog bun. Veterinary experts say pulling a dog's ears up like that can really damage the ear. It can cause wounds, and then you run the chance of something becoming infected. And they say those bands cause circulation problems as well and can also damage the dog's fur. Like humans, a dog's outer ear is protection for the inner ear canal and the eardrum. So a dog bun essentially removes the natural protection of the eardrum and the ear canal if you're pulling up those ears, and that can cause a lot of issues. The CDC, or Centers for Disease Control, has relaunched its newly redesigned Healthy Pets, Healthy People website with some new information about diseases that people can catch from pets, farm animals, and wildlife. You can now learn some simple actions to protect yourself and your pets. They say approximately 75% of recently emerging infectious diseases affecting people really began as diseases in animals. Diseases like Ebola, avian flu, and salmonella. They redesigned the website, and it also includes now some specific precautions that people with weakened immune systems, children, and pregnant women should take when they interact with animals. Now, how funny is it that a cat who loves to steal things is owned by a police sergeant? After sharing the antics of his thieving cat with his fellow police officers, the sergeant has now created a Facebook page for his cat Tigger, whom he affectionately calls Klepto Kitty. Tigger has been stealing for many years. Not that stealing is funny, but it is funny when a cat does it and then brings everything from dozens of socks, not pairs of socks, just single socks. That's one of this cat's favorites. Also, old fast food wrappers, and even one time brought home a small baggie of marijuana to his police officer owner. I'm Lori Brooks. Be sure to get more breaking animal news whenever you need it at animalradio.com.
This has been an Animal Radio News Update brought to you by Doctors Foster and Smith Pet Pharmacy. With everyday low prices on products like Quellin and Rimadyl delivered right to your door with a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Learn more at fosterandsmith.com.
Doctors Foster and Smith Pet Supplies have a Vet VIPPS accredited online pharmacy covering all your pet's needs, from heartworm medications and anti-inflammatories like Rimadyl to non-prescription items like Canine Advantix Flea and Tick Preventive. Doctors Foster and Smith has your pet covered. We'll even contact your vet for you, all with a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Low prices every day with free shipping on orders over $49. Shop online at fosterandsmith.com because your pet's health and happiness come first.
Stella and Chewy's believes that selecting the best food is one of the most important decisions an owner can make for their pet. They believe that pets thrive when they're fed the same diet they'd get in the wild. Dogs and cats are carnivores, and meal mixers are a quick and convenient way to mix a little raw nutrition and great taste into their diet. Made from premium raw ingredients like grass-fed meat and cage-free poultry with organic fruits and vegetables. Meal mixers help kickstart your kibble. Learn more at StellaandChewy's.com. This is
Animal Radio, baby. You know that rubber band thing that you were talking about, Lori? We see that.
Uh-huh.
We see that a lot.
You do?
In the grooming salon.
I've never heard of it until today.
I've seen it.
Not only that, I've seen it around ears where the bottom of the ear just fell off because the circulation was cut off and everything that was underneath the band died. The tissue just died. I mean, that's what they do. That's what they do when they dock tails sometimes. They tie elastic on it, and then the part that circulation's cut off, it falls off, which is terrible. It's a bad thing.
I have never heard of it. It's called bunning. Bunning.
You know what a bun when the girls wrap?
I thought that was trumping your cat or dog, making them look like Donald Trump.
No, this is a bun.
No, that's a whole different thing. I think isn't the Trump your cat? I think you take lint like out of the dryer or suck off sweater fuzz
out of your belly button.
Yeah, and that's what.
Yeah, and then you put it on your cat's head.
Oh, so you're actually talking about the real hair to making a bun out of their hair. Okay, I've never heard of that. Uh-huh. That's a thing.
Yeah, and. Yeah, it is a thing. And sometimes people, because, if a dog doesn't have enough hair, they will do something really stupid, and you have to call it what it is, and they take the dog's ears and they'll put the ears up on the head to make it look like a bun.
Here's the number, toll free, 1-866-405-8405. Judy also wanted me to remind you that you can ask your questions directly from the Animal Radio app. This is a free app for your iPhone, your Android, or your BlackBerry. Ask your questions from the app as well as listen to the show and find out the latest recalls. There has been, unfortunately, another rash of recalls this last week. Salmonella, Listeria, all kinds of weird things. Another one came out this morning. You'll find out those first on the Animal Radio app.
Made possible by those fine folks over at Doctors Foster's and Smith.
Of course. Thanks, guys. Love to hear from you. For Dr. Debbie or Dog Father Joey Villani, or just to check in and say, hey, or tell us what your animal is going to be dressed as for Halloween. It's 2 weeks away, so I hope you have all of that worked out. I know, if you know me and you've listened for a long time, you know I really don't like dressing up animals. The tutus and what you do all year long with your animals, with Ladybug, the studio stunt dog, Judy especially.
What?
And this whole thing that Joey turned us on to last week with the eyelashes. This whole thing, accessory eyelashes.
I just sent Judy a picture of that on her phone.
She's already got the eyelashes for the bug.
She did?
She did.
Of course.
And let me tell you, so this is kind of weird. I don't like this kind of stuff, but there is one time of the year that I do like the animals dressing up, and that is Halloween. Ladybug every year. She loves it. And we know, we can see it in her face. She absolutely loves she struts. She knows everybody's looking at her and she's special and everything. Some dogs don't like it. And some dogs, Halloween's just a really bad holiday for them and they need to stay indoors because, just seeing people dressed up freaks them out.
You know your pet. You know what they like and don't like.
Yeah, you should know your pet. Unless this is your first year with your pet, you may have to kind of feel it out. First of all, Ladybug. What's Ladybug going to be dressed up as this year?
Yeah, I've done the Ladybug thing for a while now.
For a couple years, it's kind of played out.
She's got the horse jockey.
The horse jockey.
The horse jockey where she has a little thing with a little stuffed jockey on her back. So it looks like she has, like she's a little racehorse.
I think she wore that last year, didn't she?
No, she wore that the year before. So we're just
you're kind of rotating.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Lori, do you dress up your animals?
I have 3 bulldogs, 4 right now because we have a foster, but they're not really into it. So Lucy is the most into wearing things. She feels special. And I got her this really cute, it's a headband, and it has a little unicorn, single horn in the middle. And 2 little pointy like unicorn ears. It's darling.
Joey, what about you? Does Miles like getting dressed up?
Yeah, actually they all do. Miles is going to be, it's like a little cowboy costume. Buster's going to be a pig because he's fat. Simon has a Spider-Man costume. And I don't know what she got for Peanut, but there's definitely another costume. The funny part is we don't do anything with them. We put them on them, and this is every year. We put the costumes on the dog. They run around the house for an hour. We take it off, and that's it. Then we have costumes. I have a box of doggy costumes that I could donate to someone.
We welcome to the show Chris Yandick. He is a professional costume expert, and I believe that takes several years of college to do that. And he's over at wondercostumes.com. He's a trending fashion specialist, and he's going to tell us what's happening this year with the Halloween costumes. Welcome to the show, Chris.
Hey, guys. How are you today? It's great to hear all of your stories about your pets.
What are you dressing up your pet as?
There won't be any dressing up this year as far as pets are concerned. I'd say to you more likely than not, though, this is a very interesting conversation for a lot of different reasons.
Is there like one that's like the top costume this year for pets?
Well, let me break it down for you. Of course, the Minions movie was something that was very popular, so we obviously have a Minion dog costume, for example. Superheroes. Now, let's say you want to dress up as Robin or Batman. Well, your dog could dress up as Batman or
like
Robin to match.
Matching, okay. You like that.
That's a nice idea.
If you are somebody who wants to be Luke Skywalker, you could dress up your dog also as Darth Vader, for example. Or, and of course some of the other trending superheroes, obviously, always ongoing, Spider-Man, Supergirl. And what was really popular last year was the Ninja Turtles costumes for pets because the movie was gigantic. And, sometimes there are also interesting ones from the past that people might think are kind of cool. Some people like to be Wizard of Oz characters during Halloween every year. If you're interested in either being the Tin Man, the Cowardly Lion, the Scarecrow, or the Wicked Witch of the West, well, any of those 4 costumes are also available in our pet section on wondercostumes.com, for example. And something that's going to be coming out soon, of course, that was a big popular thing over the last few years, Angry Birds. We have Angry Birds costumes for your dogs as well.
You have a couple weeks till the big holiday. I assume we can make orders today and get those costumes.
Yeah, there is still time. What I always emphasize is that the earlier you order, the earlier it gets to you. Then you can try it on, figure it out, or put it on your pet and figure it out. And
figure out who wears Batman and who wears Robin, because the whole sizing thing you might have to swap in the long run, right?
I think that probably the adult would wear Batman and the pet would wear Robin, as Robin was obviously Batman's partner in crime. So your dog is going to be your partner in crime, no?
You don't know how.
Chris Yandick, thanks so much for hanging out with us today.
Well, it's really great. Interesting hearing all of your pet stories, guys.
Hi, Kim. How are you doing?
Oh, if you can answer my question, I will be thrilled.
Oh, golly. Well, that's what I'm here for.
I have got 2 female cats, and they have got like a shaking disorder, kind of like Parkinson's. When they run, they'll hop, like in the back end of them. They'll sit and eat, and they'll shake the whole time they're eating. And I was told that it might be a virus of some sort, but I've never heard of it. Now, the one had a litter of kittens, and the one kitten is pretty severe, and the other ones have got it, but it's not quite as bad.
Interesting. So just so I can back up, you have 2 adult cats that are both doing this kind of trembling type thing?
Correct. Yeah.
And then one had a litter, and all the kittens are doing the same thing?
Exactly.
Interesting. And do you have the male kitties as well?
No, these were kind of strays.
Are these kitties inside or outdoors?
Well, they were inside, but they want to be outside. there's not really too many males around. I don't know where one came from, but...
Well, it happens.
Yeah, and I don't know if I can get them fixed. I mean, if it's a neurological disorder, can you fix them?
Yeah, and it's really kind of interesting. Now, I wanted to ask you also about flea tick products, anything like that you've had in use in the home?
No, there's no chemicals anywhere, not even in my flowers or nothing.
There's basically two routes that I might be thinking of, something that they've acquired, whether it be an infection or a toxin, or something that's more on the genetic line, because of the quantity of the kitties that are having that, and because they are related, that definitely gives me some concern that either which scenario could be involved. And for a genetic related problem, there are some poorly understood diseases, and this is where veterinarians, we try our best, but with some of these rare conditions, they aren't always well reported. But there are some neuromuscular problems, things like a muscular dystrophies that can happen. And a lot of those, they tend to be a little bit more in the male cats than in the females. But there are some diseases, and that is definitely diagnosed more by a muscle biopsy. The other thing, and you mentioned the infection possibility, and I would definitely look into this. And there are some different viruses, fungal organisms, also protozoa, which are little microscopic critters. And any which one of these, there are some things that can cause types of neurologic problems. So definitely I would encourage you to see your veterinarian. We want to check for things like toxoplasma, the viral disease called FIP, and a fungal infection. And some people will actually start antibiotics just to kind of get started and kind of treat for a hopeful bacterial infection or the protozoal infection, and hope that might get better in the meantime. And then we might have to do some blood tests. This is where it's kind of like CSI for animals.
This portion of Animal Radio is underwritten by Nutrilife Ultra Joint and Liver Support. If your little furball has difficulty walking or running, may I suggest Ultra Joint and Liver Support from Nutrilife Pet with Sammy. Buy one box and get one free using the code Animal Radio. Here's the phone number, 1-844-PET-SAME, or visit NutrilifePet.com.
You are a maniac.
What's Dolly getting into?
Okay, we have a fundraiser for the rescue coming up with the Bulldog Kissing Booth. And when we have the kissing booth out, we sell dog tugs. So guess who makes the dog tugs out of fleece, and we sit there and braid them? Well,
God bless you.
Dolly helps me.
Oh, of course.
She likes to help with everything. And so I always tell her if she's good, wink, wink,
yes,
that she will get the last one, and I will make hers the biggest. So we've done this for many years, and it is dog tug making time again, and she's helping me.
That's great. Now, how does a pug kissing booth, does it do well? Do a lot of people want to kiss the pug?
It's a bulldog kissing booth,
bulldog.
Hal. There's a big difference there.
I'm sorry. For heaven's sakes, it must be a big difference.
Yeah, it does. It does quite well. We actually started ours many years ago before the kissing booths became pretty popular. I think they're pretty popular these days. But we probably started it about 12 years ago. So
you were ahead of your time.
We're really well known. Dolly.
Okay, we're gonna take some calls, your calls right now at 1-866-405-8405 while Lori chases the dog around.
She is just your typical OCD bulldog.
Hi, who is this?
It's Casey.
Sounds like you're driving.
Well, kind of, yeah.
Where are you now?
Dallas, Texas.
Dallas, Texas. Okay, you are on with Dr. Debbie.
Hello,
well, hi, Casey.
Debbie. I've got a 7-year-old blue heeler German Shepherd mix, and about a week ago she's just developed a bald spot on her right rear hip, and she scratched at it for a day or so, and it's not a bald spot. She's not been scratching at it any longer, but it's still just bald as it could be, and it's, we're about a week, maybe a week and a half down the road now. It doesn't seem to be improving.
So she was pretty bothered by it originally, though?
Yeah. In fact, when I first noticed it, a lot of dogs, you can scratch them on the belly and such, and they'll kick their legs.
Uh-huh.
She's never been one to do that. And she did there for just a couple of days, right when I noticed that bald spot. And her skin would kind of crawl when you kind of, pet her across her back. And all that stopped within just a couple of days, but the bald spot's still there.
Well, that scratch reflex that you're describing, and we look for that a lot of times with dogs as a sign that they're having intense itching, and that can definitely be from a lot of different things, whether we're talking about an allergy or an infection. And I guess I'd have one more question for you, kind of before we go any further, is has Casey had any kind of vaccinations recently, any kind of shots of any sort?
No, she hasn't. Had her rabies shot about 3 months ago.
Okay, 3 months ago. The reason I ask that is just there is an occasional situation where a pet can have a little bald spot that develops at the site of the rabies shot, or some other vaccines. Can happen with other injections as well, but sometimes we'll see that on the right leg because a lot of veterinarians give the rabies shot in that area. So that's a possibility, but gosh, I just don't think that would really make Casey very itchy or scratchy. The other potential is we could have even like a hot spot. And have you ever heard of that before?
Yeah, I've heard of it. Never seen it or dealt with it, but
hotspots are kind of interesting things, and it's kind of a layman's term, and it's mostly we describe it as saying that's a hot area, it's hot with inflammation or infection, and sometimes that truly is the case. With a hotspot, we can actually see that from an infection or an allergy that starts it off, and it's an area where the pet is very scratchy, very itchy. We'll even see some moist crusting in the area. So if you kind of look at it, it's like a big scabby area, and the hair might even come out of that area very easily with just mild plucking. So that might be something. And if that's the case, we really need to get Casey on some antibiotics, see about getting that area cleaned up, maybe some medicated shampoos. And hopefully it's just something where we can try with antibiotics or anti-itching, allergy medicines. There's so many things that we have out there. So I would say that definitely that would be the first step. And from there, I would definitely look to see if there's anything parasite-wise. And I'm assuming with Casey, you're traveling, is she on heartworm prevention and flea and tick prevention?
She's not really on anything. She developed this. We had just left the house out in New Mexico, and I thought it might have been somewhere she got too much protein or something. A lot of times we're at home, she gets to eat what I eat rather than dog food. She'll eat a lot of steak.
Oh, no, I don't want to hear about that. That's like ringing in veterinary ears right now. But actually, really? You said one thing. When you said she's not really on any heartworm prevention, I've got to stop you there. And I'm going to be a crusader for Casey's health right now. And I think you really need to see about getting her on some prevention. So go get that skin thing looked at. But heartworm disease is carried by mosquitoes. This is peak season. Pretty much every state has it. And all it takes is one bite of a mosquito to pass that. So I would definitely encourage you. I know you called about the skin thing, but I'm going to put my commercial in for her and to make sure we keep her healthy and protected. So
good words.
Do your best on getting that.
That's what we're going to do. I thank you so much.
I love it when a business gets in the business for the right reasons, and Lucy Pet Products has done just that. In fact, Lucy Pet Products, a spinoff of the Lucy Pet Foundation, and the Lucy Pet Foundation is a charity that helps animals in local communities and supports causes that benefit animal welfare. They're doing great work. And how do they fund it? Simply great products. And they just introduced the Lucy Pet Products shampoo line. It includes leave-in conditioning sprays as well as shampoos. You can tell right from the package, right from the onset. You don't even need to sniff them yet or pick up the cans because they're absolutely beautiful cans. They're going to catch your eyes on the shelf.
You're going to want to leave them out on the counter at home because they're so pretty.
They have all these wonderful flavors.
Scents.
Yes,
I know the flavors.
Well, you have apple oatmeal. You have blueberry, lavender, coconut.
Tropical berries.
And even a puppy shampoo, a fresh leave-in grooming and conditioning spray.
And these are not only great for your dog and for your dog's coat, but the conditioning spray, you can actually spritz them in between baths to give them just a great scent.
I always like to read the ingredients, whatever I give to my animals, whether it's food or shampoo. And I'm looking at the ingredients like jojoba. How do you say that? Jojoba oil and blueberry fruit, which acts as an antioxidant. There's actual blueberry fruit in this blueberry blue lightning shampoo,
which will make your dog's white coat just bright and gorgeous.
You can find these at Petco and your local independent retailer. And check out their website. Again, here's a company doing wonderful things for animals in your local community. LucyPetProducts.com.
celebrating the connection with our pets. This is Animal Radio, featuring your dream team, veterinarian Dr. Debbie White and groomer Joey Villani. And here are your hosts, Hal Abrams and Judy Francis.
Well, we're getting in the Halloween spirit. If you just joined us here, we're thinking about what we're going to dress our animals as next week, because we always do it a week here early, and all the animals will come in next Saturday all dressed up. And Ladybug, the studio stunt dog, she's actually trying out one of these horse jockey costumes that has the little horse jockey on the back, so it looks like she's a horse.
Yes, she has the little stuffed person on the back, little jockey.
But does she like that person chasing her?
You know what? I'm not sure if she likes this year's costume. In the past, she's really liked the attention she gets from wearing the costumes. You know, she notices that everybody's looking at her and gives her attention, and she really likes that.
If she doesn't like the jockey one, then I'll put her Tootsie Roll one on her.
Do you still have the Tootsie Roll one? So you're another one, just like Joey.
I have the Tootsie Roll. I have the Ladybug. Yes, I have a few.
What, you wear them once and they're no good anymore, huh?
She can rotate them.
Dr. Debbie?
It's like a new outfit. You got to like freshen it up each year. And
I know.
My neighborhood kids, they always come looking to see what we got the dogs dressed up.
Well, you haven't told us. Everybody's...
Boss is going to be a superhero, and then
Which superhero?
Nikki, it's going to be Super Boss. You know, he's going to be his own unique
superhero. Well, he is in his way a superhero.
He is.
Yes.
He is, absolutely. And then Nikki's going to be a princess. So
a princess? Okay.
It's contrasting to what she looks like.
Now, me wonders if there's any of you in these desirable costumes. Perhaps you're a superwoman, and perhaps Nikki represents your husband and what he'd like to wear. I don't know. Is there? I'm just...
You're saying he wants to be a princess?
Yeah, and you want to be the superhero.
Okay, we're going to go to the phones, please. Dr. Debbie and Joey Villani taking your calls toll free at 1-866-405-8405. And don't forget, you can ask your questions from the Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android and BlackBerry also. So you want to do that. As I mentioned last hour, there's been a few recalls this week, and you'll get those recalls first from the Animal Radio app. So you should download it now. It's free thanks to those folks over at Drs. Foster's and Smith. And speaking of which, they make our news possible. And Lori, working hard in the newsroom. What are you working on?
Yes, I am. Well, we've had potbelly pigs that people had for pets and miniature pigs. And now I believe these are smaller than miniature pigs. And they've been actually created by scientists.
Oh, those can't be very healthy. I can't imagine they would. Don't small pigs have problems already, Dr. Debbie?
Yeah, in my experience, I've seen a couple that have had some joint problems, some thriving problems. But, any animal, when we really miniaturize, it can cause some potential problems. So you really have to be cautious and kind of not always fall into the micro fad, whether it's a dog, cat, or a pig. And we'll see if these pigs ever make it to the U.S. soil anyways.
Yeah, I saw some of these videos of some really small pigs that are on U.S. soil. They're really small already over at our Facebook page.
But
did you see those?
They're probably not micro pigs. They're probably going to become big pigs.
You think?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, there are different microbreeds out there that will be, under 40 pounds. But the problem is so often people buy a micro pig thinking they're going to get a cute little one that doesn't get over 40 pounds, and they end up being 200 pounds. I have a client who actually got a feeder pig, didn't know they were buying a feeder pig, which ended up totaling over 400 pounds by the time it was full grown.
Wow.
So you really have to be cautious and just, if you really want a pig, research them. They do take special needs. They can be destructive and a little bit of a toddler. So you really have to be prepared for what you're getting into.
And so aren't some of these people actually starving them because they're going to get big, but they only give them a little bit of food to keep them small?
Yeah, well, that's with a lot of different pigs. If you keep feeding them small amounts, they will stay small. But once you feed them to their normal needs, they will tend to grow. So, yeah.
There you go. Pigs in the news on the way. And pigs in space. Also, this hour, we're going to continue with the Halloween trend and costumes and the secret lives of bats. And, in fact, let's go to the phones right now before those interviews. Toll free, 1-866-405-8405.
Hi, who is this?
This is Bill.
Hey, Bill, how are you doing?
I have a umbrella cockatoo, and I have a Malaccan cockatoo. The Malaccan cockatoo I sold to a CB shop, Triple T truck stop, and there's a CB shop there. And the guy wanted a bird, and I had some birds at home, but only two go with me. And the umbrella,
they travel with you?
Yes.
In your
the
truck?
Semi.
Okay.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and the umbrella, the umbrella I raised in my truck, and she's real attached to me. I would never let go of her. But Big Bird, I call him his name. He's really loud, talks a lot, friendly. Everybody likes him, but he is really loud, and he needs a enormous amount of attention. And I mean a lot of attention.
Makes for a very small cab, I'd imagine.
Oh, yes, and we've had screaming matches in the truck when I put him in his cage and he wanted out. He would just scream at me, and I would just scream back, and we'd have the screaming match. I'd say, okay, you're not getting out, and he'd scream, ha, 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 you know, like that. But anyway, I don't know why I sold him. I think it was one of those days where we had one of those screaming matches, and the guy says I sold him to him. But anyway, he's been there for 8 months, and I've been checking on him all the time, calling him every month, and I miss the bird terrible.
Wish you didn't sell him, huh?
Oh, I hated it. When I left the truck stop, I go, oh my God, what did I just do? That bird saved my life one time.
Really? What?
How did he save your life? How did he save your life?
Well, I'm a truck driver. You know, truck drivers, they do things and drive. And drive, and it was one of those days where I was driving, because the snow was behind me, and I wanted to keep it that way. And I was driving in Wyoming, and I started to go to sleep.
Oh, no.
So I felt myself fading off, and all of a sudden things just became a blur, and all of a sudden Big Bird bit me on the ear. It didn't really draw blood. But he grabbed a hold of my ear, and he pulled my head back and woke me up.
Wow.
Whoa.
So
yeah.
He really saved your life there.
Yes, and I, because he was clamping down, and I thought, oh my God, he's grabbed my ear, and I looked up, and I go, oh my God, what am I doing? I almost went off the road, and I just turned the wheel just in time to get it back on the road, and my trailer was swerving a little bit, and the truck was swerving. There was no traffic ahead of me or behind me. It was just pitch dark.
Bill, let me get this straight. You sold the bird that saved your life.
That's right.
Okay, just wanted to make sure I got this straight.
Pretty stupid, huh? But anyway, that was a few years ago, and when I sold the bird, I go, what the heck did I just do? So I've been feeling real heartsick, yeah.
Yeah. Have you visited him, or are you just inquiring by phone with him?
Well, I visited him one time, and he remembered me and come right up to me, and my other little umbrella came right down to him. When they started talking, we all started talking. We was like a family again, right? Well, the guy he acted like he wasn't going to sell him back to me, because we had this agreement. If he didn't want the bird, he'd have to sell him back to me. So I said, okay. So that's what I've been hoping. So I called him back last week. He says, I love the bird to death. He's just, I just love the bird. He talks, he's friendly, but he says he's driving my neighbors nuts, and he's screaming and screaming and screaming. And he says, I think he wants to be back with you or something. He's asked me if I want him back, and I said, oh, of course. When?
Well, he sounds like he's one of those exuberant children who are very loud, boisterous, but once they're out of your life, that you kind of say, gosh, it's so quiet without Johnny here. And so are you looking at getting him back then?
Yes, I'm driving down, trying to get over there close by Tucson to pick him up. And the guy called me the other day, and he says, are you coming? I said, oh, yeah, you bet. I got his cage in his truck, and I got a different truck now. So it's all modified for him, because he'll eat your truck if you don't modify it. I got a different truck now, so I hope he likes it. But anyway, I got a question. Do you think... Well, I got two questions. One, every time I bring food in the truck, I love hot dogs, and every time I get in there, Big Bird wants my hot dog. He'll fight me over it. He sees me eating a hot dog, he'll fight me over it. And my umbrella never used to like hot dogs, but when I sold Big Bird, now he likes hot dogs. So every time I go in there, he wants my hot dog. This came about one time when I left the hot dog on a dash when I went to fuel. And I went back in my truck, and he was eating my hot dog. He was eating one end, and the other bird was eating one end, and I just cut it in half and says, go at it. So is that safe for them to eat?
Well, hot dogs are certainly probably not one of the favored health foods for people, and it would probably be the same for birds. But you know what? They can certainly eat a lot of things that we do, and I think what you're describing is there's a lot of social eating when we have birds, and part of the fun is sharing the food that the human eats as well. So in a small amount, I don't see a problem with him having a hot dog. It's certainly a little bit high in some fat type substances that we probably wouldn't want him to have as a regular basis, but for a treat here and there, if he enjoys it, it's part of your social bonding, I'm all for it. And I would be very happy to hear him back in your life, as loud as he might be. But especially if he thrives in that kind of the traveling environment and being in the cab with you, I'm very happy for you, and I hope that works out for you guys.
Yes, and do you think I'm going to have a problem with him getting me back? Because it's been 8 months. You think he's going to be okay?
So are you...
Cause see, one time I left him out of my truck because my wife wanted to keep him at home for a while. And then my wife couldn't handle him. Then I put him back in the truck, and then we had a problem for a while. But now it's been 8 months. You think I'm going to be okay? He's going to be all right?
No, I wanted to ask you, do you travel with both birds in the truck at the same time, or do you alternate?
They both go with me at the same time. Big Bird has his own perch on the passenger side. There's a seat I rigged up, and it's got a little perch there for him, and my wife says he's going to fall off of there, and which he doesn't. When I slow down, I got a little bell there, and he grabs on the little bell with his beak.
I would love to see the picture of your cab, because This sounds like this is the most bird-friendly traveling arrangement that you could have. And as long as you have some supports where he's able to kind of hold on if there's a shift in movement. But most birds are pretty good about grasping, especially if they're, they're well-groomed. And as far as your concerns for him, I guess, if you're concerned about him recognizing or fitting into the family situation, from what you've described, when he's recognized you and your other bird when you visited, there's going to be a little bit of acclimation in readjusting to the situation, but it certainly sounds like he thrived in that situation. He was excited when he saw you visiting, and I would say I would be there with open arms and just be ready for and getting your buddy back, and give him a little extra space. He might not fall back into the same routines quite as he did before, but I think with time, getting back to the routine, he'll find his place, and I think you're going to be very happy. So thank you, and I wish you good luck here, Bill. We'll be anxious to hear how he adapts and gets going back on the road. This is Dr. Debbie with Animal Radio.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now at 1-866-405-8405.
It's time for another Nutrilife pet tip.
Let's talk liver. You probably already know that your dog should have a hearty, healthy appetite.
But if all of a sudden your dog develops a loss of appetite, he's just not eating right.
Or let's say they're vomiting or they have diarrhea.
They might also be very thirsty.
You know your dog if they appear confused or weak. These are all symptoms of liver disease. Keep an eye out for these symptoms and keep your pet's liver living the life.
The good life.
That was a Nutrilife pet tip. Visit NutrilifePet.com. Sadly, many dogs suffer with weak joints, affecting their ability to walk. Thankfully, there's Ultra Joint and Liver Support from Nutrilife Pet with Sam E., the proven supplement for joint health. Ultra Joint and Liver Support from Nutrilife Pet can help restore your animal's quality of life. Buy one box of Ultra Joint and Liver Support and get one free by using coupon code Animal Radio. Order yours at www.NutrilifePet.com and get your pet up and running.
Did you know canine caviar diets are formulated with common health concerns in mind, such as diabetes, cancer, and kidney disease? You see, canine caviar uses low GI carbs, which reduce hunger and prolong physical endurance. Free of GMO, gluten, hormones, steroids, and antibiotics, canine caviar's 5-star dog and cat foods are the only alkaline-based foods in the world, and that promotes a healthy lifestyle for your furry family. Find out more at caninecaviar.com.
I wish I could fall asleep. Jennifer had a stressful day, and now her mind is spinning at bedtime. I have a big day tomorrow. It's time for new Unisom Sleep Minis. The tiny capsules are non-habit forming and work fast. They're the little help busy people need to get a good night's sleep and wake recharged. Good night. New Unisom Sleep Minis. A stressful day deserves a restful night. Use as directed. Active ingredient diphenhydramine hydrochloride.
How strong is Allegra D?
It's jumping in a pile of leaves with my kids strong.
Allegra D, a fast, non-drowsy antihistamine plus a powerful decongestant that starts relieving your toughest allergy symptoms in 1 hour.
Yep, I am going to take that hayride strong.
It's breathing free for 24 hours, even after a day of apple picking strong.
Allegra D, strong relief for your allergy symptoms, guaranteed or your money back. Visit Allegra.com. Use only as directed.
Hi, this is Joyce DeWitt on Animal Radio. Please spay and neuter your animals. Thank you.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now at 1-866-405-8405.
It's Animal Radio. And while we usually talk cats or dogs, fish, birds, horses, in just a few minutes we're going to get a little batty because it is almost Halloween, and Dr. Merlin Tuttle, the official, I guess...
Batman.
He is Batman.
He's Batman.
Oh, Batman. He knows everything about bats. He's taken pictures of bats. He hangs out with them and snaps photos and writes all about them. And he's kind of a strange character, I think. But we'll find out in just a few minutes. We're going to talk to him. He says that bats, they're misunderstood and that they do a lot of good. So you shouldn't be afraid of bats. I didn't realize there were so many different breeds of bats.
I didn't either.
Here, hold that up to the microphone so listeners can see those pictures.
I like the ones, little horns, big-eared ones, one that has a
That one on the
mohawk.
right looks like a chihuahua.
I know, doesn't it?
Cute.
It's those big eyes.
I'd want one.
Weird.
Yeah.
So that's coming up in just a couple of minutes. Miss Lori Brooks, also news around the corner. What are we working on?
Well, you know how animals in the old days, or, animals that we've never seen alive before, like, say, a dinosaur or something, are always, kind of like drab colors. Now scientists are saying, ta-da, they have found a way to tell us what color animals in the ancient past really were. And we'll tell you all about that. It's kind of cool.
Wow. Wouldn't that be fun if we found out dinosaurs were pink or something like that?
Teal.
Let's go to the phones right now for Dr. Debbie and dog father Joey Villani. It's toll-free, 1-866-405-8405. Hi, Donna. How are you doing?
Hey.
What's going on in your life?
Well, it's actually in my little doggie's life. She's a 14-and-a-half-year-old German Shepherd Pit Bull mix.
So she's a senior gal.
She is starting to lose her teeth.
Ooh.
And I was wondering if maybe a little more calcium in her diet might help prolong this.
My first question for you, Donna, is going to be, what do her teeth look like and what do they kind of smell like?
Oh, no bad breath. Very white for being 14.
When I hear a 14-and-a-half-year-old doggy, I do expect and I visualize some degree of dental disease. And I can't see your doggy's mouth right now, but I would expect there's probably something going on there as far as some problems. Which particular teeth are you seeing that are loose or coming out?
The back ones. The very back ones. Yeah, we just had one removed in May because it split. And,
okay, it was broken or it was coming loose?
No, it split. It broke. It cracked in half. Because she's got this pit bull mentality of she has very, very strong jowls. I give her very large. She's always growed up on deer bones.
Oh, there you go. There's the problem right there, and I was waiting to hear it, Donna.
Really?
it's kept her teeth in very good condition all of her life. And
well, I won't dispute that, but what I will tell you is chewing on bones cracks dogs' teeth.
Ooh.
And that sounds like what we have going on. So I don't know if I would make the trade-off for avoiding dental care with feeding a bone that can cause a painful crack in a tooth. And that is a very common type thing, and not necessarily in older dogs. This is something we see in young dogs that are fed, those little ham bones or even some of the really hard thigh bones that you could pick up at the butcher. We may think we're doing a good thing, but they're stronger than the dog's teeth, and they'll crack parts of the tooth off and leave that open pulp canal, which is open for infection and open and causing pain. So that results in a sometimes very costly extraction or a root canal. I would say rather than look at giving her a supplement of calcium, which isn't going to change that physical disparity between a bone stronger than the teeth, I would say number one thing is we need to stop that practice of giving her those bones.
Okay, I can go with that.
What's something soft to chew on that's good for an older dog?
I would like to go with things like some of the Kong toys, and I do like some of the rawhides that are compressed rawhides, not the kind that are in strips or in little bones, but the compressed rawhides. So I'd say, let's take away those chewing bones and maybe stick with more of the edible ones where she can get a little dental exercise and keep those teeth from cracking, because ouch, that is not comfortable. This is Dr. Debbie. If you have questions about a dental problem or anything else veterinary related, 1-866-405-8405.
This helping of Animal Radio is brought to you by Solid Gold. Listen to this. Venison, pollock, duck, quail, cold water salmon, the list goes on, and they're all part of Solid Gold's holistic pet food.
That's pet food?
Yes, a wide variety of sustainably sourced options in both grain and gluten-free and healthy whole grain recipes. I wish they made human food like this.
Gosh, that sounds great.
There are no ingredients sourced from China ever. Give Solid Gold a shot today. And thanks Solid Gold for underwriting Animal Radio.
This is
Animal Radio.
This is an Animal Radio News Update, brought to you by Doctors Foster and Smith Pet Pharmacy, with prescription medications and over-the-counter products like Advantix flea and tick medication delivered right to your door. Learn more at fosterandsmith.com.
I'm Lori Brooks. Tiny pigs, they're called actually micro pigs, were created by scientists in China using some new genetic editing techniques. And we hear they are soon to be sold as pets in the very near future. And the prospect has triggered a huge, furious debate between animal rights groups and scientists. The news went public in the journal Nature a few weeks ago, which said the micro pigs weigh about 33 pounds each, and the Beijing Genomics Institute will sell them for about $1,500 a piece as they try to raise cash for the institute. But the buyers, they say, because it's genomics and they're basically creating these animals, that the buyers will be able to select their animal's color and even their coat pattern. Imagine repainting science. I say repainting because it's really putting new colors to things that we have never been able to see with our own eyes. So imagine if some dinosaurs, because we always picture them, like a dull brown or black or something. Imagine if dinosaurs really were purple or turquoise or something. We're learning a lot more about this subject now that a new study is out, revealing that scientists have been able to learn the skin or hair colors of animals by examining the melanosome structures, which are found in fossils more than 34 million years old. So why are melanosomes so exciting, you're wondering? Well, because melanosomes contain melanin, and that is the pigment that gives certain colors to skin, fur, or hair. And scientists say now they can use the size and really the shape of melanins to determine what their original color was. So if it was a melanin from a dinosaur, they could look at that, look at the shape, and get the dinosaur's original color. Though their first study focused on bats. So you're wondering, so what color were bats in the ancient days? Not really exciting. They were brown, they found. But the experts say it really is a big deal to know that, because since so little is preserved in the fossil record, the color of extinct animals has really always been left up to artist interpretations. And now science will be able to tell for certain the color of some ancient animals. I'm Lori Brooks. Get more breaking animal news whenever you need it at animalradio.com.
This has been an Animal Radio News Update brought to you by Doctors Foster and Smith Pet Pharmacy. With everyday low prices on products like Quellin and Rimadyl delivered right to your door with a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Learn more at fosterandsmith.com.
Doctors Foster and Smith Pet Supplies have a Vet VIPPS accredited online pharmacy covering all your pet's needs, from heartworm medications and anti-inflammatories like Rimadyl to non-prescription items like Canine Advantix Flea and Tick Preventive. Doctors Foster and Smith has your pet covered. We'll even contact your vet for you, all with a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Low prices every day with free shipping on orders over $49. Shop online at fosterandsmith.com, because your pet's health and happiness come first.
And now, a touching moment. Well, staying in touch with Geico.
I remember it like it was yesterday. As I downloaded the Geico app, a bluebird landed on my finger. I said, "Hey, Mr. Bluebird, did you know you can add a car to your Geico policy with just a tap of your finger? Just scan the VIN number. It's so easy." After that, we watched the sunset together and ate birdseed. The birdseed tasted super weird, but the sunset was nice.
VIN scanning to add a car. Just a few taps away on the Geico app.
That's Animal Radio. We are celebrating our connection with pets, and right now, our connection with the bat. Which, I say that, and I get chills down my spine. Bat! But you know what? Really, they are our friends. Or they're supposed to be our friends. They serve lots of purposes, and we have Bat Expert and Bat Man, Dr. Merlin Tuttle, on with us. Hi, Doc. Welcome to the show.
Good afternoon. I'm happy to be on your show.
We're happy to have you here. This must be, your time of year, pretty much. Why is it that bats are our friends? Let's start right there, because when you talk bat with most people, they get crazy,
First of all, almost everything most people think they know about bats is wrong, and that comes from the fact that bats are active only at night. They live in places that we're often superstitious about. They fly erratically, and they can show up unexpectedly, and we just naturally fear most what we understand least. And in parts of the world where bats are large and live out in the open, like birds, nobody fears them. They're actually eulogized as folk heroes. It's where they're tiny and can't be well seen that people fear them most.
Okay, I understand that. And
so do they really suck your blood?
Yeah, that's the big one. Should I worry about that?
Absolutely not. First of all, there are 3 species of vampire bats. They live only in Latin America. Only one of those ever causes any problem for humans. That one is just a tiny fraction of all the world's bats, or even all the bats of Latin America, despite the fact that there are vampire stories all over the world that are based on horrible things humans have done. Actual vampire bats are found nowhere outside of Latin America, and they pose very minimal problem to humans, even in Latin America, unless you're going to go out and sleep in the jungle without a mosquito net, which I don't think most of us would try doing.
Yeah, so those few bats are giving all bats a bad rap, a bad bat rap.
Well, on the reality side, bats have one of the finest safety records of living among people of any animal on our planet. I have worked on them for 55 years on every continent where they exist. I've personally handled and photographed and researched hundreds of species of bats. I've been surrounded by millions at a time in caves, and never once have I been attacked by a bat. Never once have I contracted a disease from a bat. For any human who just doesn't go around picking up sick animals and getting bit and then not doing anything about it, the odds of being harmed by a bat are so small they're incalculable.
Well, you always hear about rabies and such from bats. But so what do they do that is really good for the environment? They must serve a purpose. Obviously, they probably get rid of small insects and such, right?
Bats are essential to the health of whole ecosystems upon which we ourselves depend. And When I say essential, that's insect pest control, keeping insect populations in balance, seed dispersal, pollination. They also contribute literally billions of dollars to human agriculture each year by controlling crop pests.
I was in the hardware store just yesterday, and I saw, actually boxed up, a $27 box of bat guano, which
yum.
I'm pretty sure that, if you could sell that, it must have some amazing qualities, fertilizing qualities.
I just returned from a trip to Cambodia, which was really fascinating. People there cut and dry palm leaves, tie them together in bundles, and raise them up into high places to attract bats to roost. They're actually making their own Cambodian version of a bat house. And I met one woman who, with 10 of those structures, was selling her bat guano for almost $10,000 US annually.
Wow.
For fertilizer. It's one of the world's finest fertilizers.
Huh. So is it true if there weren't any bats, there would be no chocolate and no tequila?
Huh?
I don't know about the chocolate, but certainly tequila, all the world's tequila comes from a single species of agave, which is highly dependent upon bats for pollination.
Ah.
There are hundreds of species of agaves in Latin America, the United States, and Caribbean islands that most of which depend on bats as their primary pollinators. The truth is that in all these 30-some years that we've had 1.5 million bats living under a bridge in Austin, despite early predictions that they were going to prove dangerous, not one person's been attacked, not one person has contracted a disease, and in fact the bats eat 15 tons of crop and yard pests a night and bring in $12 million tourist dollars every summer.
Hey, that's like my ex-wife.
How? Yeah, I'm looking at the book that you've got out, The Secret Lives of Bats, and you've got some great pictures in there. And I realized I've seen some bats that I thought were really cute and others that I thought were kind of creepy, and I guess the difference is the ones with the big eyes are so cute.
You'd be surprised how many bats are cute when photographed by somebody who's sensitive to them. Not many of us would be handsome or cute if somebody held us upside down while they snapped close-up single-flash pictures of our shocked face.
So all these pictures in this book you took these pictures because they're really phenomenal.
Right.
Okay, so here's the book. It's a great book, The Secret Lives of Bats, My Adventures with the World's Most Misunderstood Mammals. And, yeah, they certainly are misunderstood. Dr. Merlin Tuttle, our guest. I have 5 copies to give away right now. If you're not lucky enough to get on through, toll free at 1-866-405-8405. You can pick it up over at Amazon. And we'll put links to all of that over at animalradio.com. Dr. Tuttle, thanks so much for hanging with us today.
You're very, very welcome.
This portion of Animal Radio is underwritten by Nutrilife Ultra Joint and Liver Support. If your pet has difficulty walking or running, try Ultra Joint and Liver Support from Nutrilife Pet with Sammy. Yes, you've heard about Sammy, now in a form for your pet. And here's a deal for you. Buy 1 box and get 1 free using the code Animal Radio. Call 1-844-PET-SAME or visit NutralifePet.com. And Nutrilife, thank you so much for underwriting educational programming like Animal Radio. Hi, Steve. Where are you calling from today?
Well, right now I'm in North Dakota. I'm a truck driver on the road.
You're on with Dr. Debbie.
Hi, Steve.
Hi, Dr. Debbie. My wife's got a yellow lab. It's a pretty large yellow lab. It weighs about 95 pounds. About 3-4 years ago, it had some hip problems. The doctor that we had told her to give it 1 glucosamine tablet a day, and we did that, and that really helped with the hip. Now, I noticed the last time I was home, when the dog wanted to crawl up the stairs, it's starting to have problems with that left hip again. And we've always continued with that 1 tablet, but I was wondering if we could increase that or if there's something else we should look at. Or
did you take him to the veterinarian? Did they do any x-rays? Has he actually been diagnosed with hip problems?
I'm sure they did do the x-rays.
The reason I ask that is there's a lot of other things that we can sometimes misinterpret as hip problems, especially in a very large active dog like a Labrador. Some of the early signs of hip problems that you might see at home would be what we call bunny hopping, where a dog kind of moves their back legs together like a rabbit jumping. And that's something we can see actually in very young dogs with hip dysplasia. Labradors injure their knee a lot, and it's kind of like a football player type injury. So we just want to make sure we're sure of the type of injury, because there's different things we might do for those things. But if we are definitively dealing with a hip problem, glucosamine, the supplement that you've mentioned, is definitely one of the first line things we can try to help out a pet with osteoarthritis. It is a natural type supplement, and it helps to promote healthy joint fluid. It decreases inflammation, and that results in less pain for our pets.
Okay.
And in addition to that, there's a lot of great medications out there to help our pets with arthritis pain, and I would definitely make sure you speak to your veterinarian. There's some really good ones out there. If you've already tried the glucosamine, it's helped, but we're kind of losing ground there. You might want to see about looking into those, because those are very helpful for pets that the first tier of the supplements don't quite help them out enough. We have to be cautious with that. We want to make sure we follow blood work and make sure the pet's in good health while they're on that. But that might be something that I would really see about doing at this point.
Sounds good. I will probably try that.
I hope that's some help for you, Steve. And thank you so much for calling here today. 1-866-405-8405. This is Dr. Debbie.
This portion of Animal Radio is underwritten by Stella and Chewy's. You know, pets thrive when they're fed the same food they'd get in the wild. And meal mixers are an easy, convenient way to add raw, nutrient-rich meat with wholesome fruits, vegetables, probiotics, and antioxidants to any diet. Learn more over at StellaandChewy's.com. And thanks, guys, for underwriting Animal Radio.
Hi, this is Elaine Hendricks on Animal Radio. Please, adopt a pet.
That freaks me out every time you do that, Judy.
Get your attention, though.
Well, you're training me, aren't you?
I am. Then you're focused on me.
Focused on the show, and focused on producer Judy over here, and no donuts. And every time I even look over at the donuts, I get one. And this is the same for your dog, and that's where we're talking about the Pet Corrector is what she has in her hand. And it can help you handle really any pet behavioral issues with love and care rather than pain and punishment. That's what we believe in here. This little ingenious device allows you to safely change unwanted behaviors in your dog, like excessive barking or stealing or whatever it is, just a simple little hiss like that, and then redirect their behavior. Learn more over at companyofanimals.us. And thanks, guys, for underwriting Animal Radio. Hi, who's this?
This is Glenn.
You are on with Dr. Debbie.
Hi, Dr. Debbie.
Hey, hi, how are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm fabulous. What kind of pet do you have?
I have a 16-year-old pound cat. He's all gray. That's the best I can tell you about because I don't know a whole lot about the kinds, but he's lovable, but he's the past year has been throwing up probably at least maybe 3 or 4 times a week, sometimes even more. Took him to our vet and did the blood work and an exam, and everything came up okay, but still there's a concern that he does eat, but he does throw up quite often.
And when he's vomiting, what is he bringing up?
Lots of liquid, mostly digested food, some hair.
Okay, and does he still have an interest in food? Does he have an appetite?
No, he has a great appetite, but he's skinny.
Okay, has he always been skinny, or was he used to be a chubby fella?
No. I think he's always been pretty skinny.
Okay.
And I don't know if 15, 16 years old is getting towards the end of his run, but...
Well, not necessarily anymore, because I think there's been a lot of great advances in veterinary medicine, and a 15-year-old cat nowadays, isn't the same thing as many years ago. 8 to 10-year-old cat, I think, we perceived as an old pet. But there's a lot of other things we can do diagnostic-wise, and there's probably a lot of things we can look at. And I didn't catch your kitty's name. What's your kitty's name?
Max.
Max. Oh, yes, the most popular pet name.
Is that right? Okay. Well, no, after the last visit, and that was about a year ago, maybe a little longer, we put him on either Science Diet or IAMS sensitive stomach formula. And I'm actually not even sure if that seemed to help. I don't know if that's me wanting it to help or not, thinking it actually did. But it's not like he's on grocery store food. He's on, I think, pretty good food.
Well, I'm not sure what exactly your veterinarian has done and checked for, but I can tell you a couple of the things that in a cat of that age that I'd really be concerned about. And especially since you mentioned that, Max is on the thin side, I'd want to make sure that they evaluated things like his kidneys, his thyroid level, and make sure his liver is good too, because those are all types of conditions that in an older cat can start to cause not only weight loss, but some vomiting signs as well. I'd also make sure that they do address the thyroid, because hyperthyroidism is an older cat disease, and one of the signs can be vomiting, can also be weight loss, excitability, things like that. But there's also some other things that we'd want to go looking at, and I'd probably also want to get some pictures of his tummy and get some x-rays, making sure we don't see anything that's out of position or any kind of organ enlargement, because there are some things that we might pick up on x-rays as well. Now, if all of the tests have come up negative and we've, ruled out things with blood, we've done urine tests, we've done x-rays, maybe even an ultrasound, if all of those things in the diagnostic workup looks completely healthy and we're all scratching our heads and going, there's nothing to show in here, there's no clues, there are some things that can be chronic GI diseases in cats that can be a little bit hard to detect with these normal methods. And those are things of the inflammatory bowel disease nature. So like people get IBS, where you get a whole gamut of symptoms from cramping, diarrhea, that cats can actually get a similar form of this, where they get an inflammation that affects their parts of their digestive tract. Sometimes it can be just the stomach, sometimes the small intestine, or throughout their whole gut. And that can cause a problem with things such as vomiting, can cause weight loss. It can cause bloating, diarrhea, things of those natures. So inflammatory bowel disease is a little bit hard to detect, and in many cases it requires things like biopsies. Inflammatory bowel disease also kind of overlaps with food allergies, and the food that you're using right now certainly sounds like a pretty good diet, and I don't blame you for trying that. But one other thing you can investigate and try is to try a hypoallergenic diet and go to something that is a little bit geared towards pets with food allergies. And in cats, there's some good ones out there. You can try duck and potato-based diets. There's venison, green pea diets, things like that, which are kind of novel proteins, something the pet has never seen before. And that may, for a pet with a food allergy, it may be accepted a little bit more readily. They may have less reaction and might, have less vomiting as a result, and see if that might help them out.
Well, I'll try both. I'll try taking it back to the vet if you don't think that's overdoing it, and then I'll change his food again if that's not a problem.
Thanks for
Thank you very much.
Thanks for your call, Glenn.
Thank you, Glenn.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
I can smell those from here.
Don't knock these gluten-free yak cheeses until you tried it. Here, try that. You'll like that.
Okay.
You're a farm gal. You should like that. When I say a farm gal, you were a farm gal. You were brought up on the farms of Chino, California?
Chino, California. It used to be dairy capital of the world, Hal.
So you had goat cheese. Did you make the goat cheese?
No, I just happened to have it. I go to the store and buy it,
Just like the rest of us.
Yes.
Okay, let's get on out of here. I want to thank so much Chrissy Amnick for telling us all about the pet costumes, and Merlin Tuttle, Dr. Merlin Tuttle and the Misunderstood Bat. Did you know our very own Dr. Debbie has 4 books? They're Kindle books, and if you have a Yorkshire Terrier or a Shih Tzu or a Pug or a Mini Schnauzer, you should check these out. They're the ultimate guardian guides for these breeds. They're over at Kindle, as they are Kindle books. Just look for Dr. Debbie and How to Be Your Dog's Best Friend. Be sure to check us out at animalradio.com and download the Animal Radio app. It is a free download. And we'll see you next week right here on this fine station for more Animal Radio.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Always adopt, don't declaw.
This is Animal Radio Network.